This podcast is brought to you by beginnersfab.com, the site that teaches you how to make useful, interesting, and creative things with basic tools. Think you don't have the fabrication tools necessary to make what you need? Think again. beginnersfab.com. Hey everybody, and welcome back to Off-Road Independence. Today I'm with some faces that you may recognize from some past shows. I've got Oregon Trail Off-Road on the show once again, and we're going to get into a little bit about what they've been doing since the last time we talked, which, how long has it been, Jason, since the last time we talked? Kobe?
It's been about 10 months.
Yeah, it's been a while. I haven't been a very good sponsor. I'm sorry. But you know, we've been talking. I'm up to date on what they've been doing for the most part. We have been communicating and we've been sharing each other's stuff and that kind of stuff, which was the whole point of what we were doing. We just haven't been able to really connect and get on the show. But today we're going to get on the show, and we're going to get on to what they're doing with since the last time we talked and what they're doing for the preparation of the big trip. Now, not to skip ahead too much, but when is you guys' big trip?
We leave July 16th, and it's the expedition is 5 weeks long, so we'll arrive in Independence, Missouri on August 20th.
Okay, so this is what they're preparing for. This is the purpose of why we spoke before and why we're speaking now. So Just so you guys have an idea. Rehash real quick in a few words, what is your goal with this trip again, so that those that are first time listeners?
So Oregon Trail Off-Road is just a team of regular dudes that got a crazy idea to backtrack the Oregon Trail. It kind of stemmed just from, watching TV and just hanging out with a bunch of friends that like off-roading. And so one thing led to another, and we kind of started planning about a little over 2 years ago now for an expedition, basically backtracking the Oregon Trail from Oregon City, where one of the main endpoints was, to Independence, Missouri. So we're actually doing it in reverse and trying to relive that history and kind of capture our sense of adventure.
Okay, very cool. So those of you who are first-time viewers or first-time listeners, that's what's going on. And now, the last time we talked, you guys were a little bit different. There were three of you on the show, but there was one face different, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So what's kind of changed since the last time we talked, and what's going on now with the team and everything?
Sure. So all the guys that were on the team back then are still on the team. Wilkie, you see here sitting next to me, he was abroad in Australia, and so he's been there from the get-go. It's just he's been kind of our Australian satellite member for the last year. So he came back. Troy's still on the team. He's just down in Southern Oregon right now. And we added a few new faces. So the core is still the same. It's Kobe, me, Wilkie, Tank, and Jesse. And Jesse's our videographer down there, and then Troy, of course. But we added Zach Mayfield, who's kind of taken over the spot for our recovery expert. We like to have one guy on the trail that's kind of designated for recovery. That's for efficiency and safety too, to have one point man for that. So he's kind of covered that base. And then Chris Flam, he's our newest guy. He just pulled him on, and he's actually he was a survival trainer for the military, and he's got a background in mechanics too. And so we pulled him on the team, and he's actually going to be helping us. Add another facet to kind of what we're doing is kind of doing some survival training along the way. He has a lot of cool just kind of camp. The last trip we were out on, he did a couple lessons. One, just how to build a fire from just the things you have around you. And then, if you were ever stranded, how to, find true north with sunlight. So it's just kind of cool things that add a little flavor to it. And he's been one of the guys that I actually, along with Wilkie, before Oregon Trail, years before Oregon Trail ever started, he was one of the guys that I used to off-road with. So
okay.
He's kind of a natural guy. So the team right now is me, Kobe, Wilkie, sitting next to me. Troy and Jesse were down in Southern Oregon, and then the two new guys, Zach and Chris. And then Tank. Yeah, sorry, I forgot about Tank.
Yeah, so how many are you then?
So there's 8 guys now, and it sounds like a lot of people, but just based on the expedition itself and how long it was, not everybody can go the full time. And we knew that on the trail at all times we wanted to have at least 4 people. And so that was kind of the, aside from the necessary skills they bring, we just needed, we needed a larger team to split some of that time up. So the guys that weren't coming for the full time, we could still have 4 guys on the trail. Because it's just a lot of work, with the video aspect of things and then just the regular expedition things. There's just a lot to get done. And when we did it with 3 people last summer on our practice expedition, and it was just a lot of work. I mean, you basically you're huffing it until about 8 or 9 o'clock, and then you're done. You're going up and going to bed. So it just helps to have the responsibility spread out. So that was kind of the need for a few more people. I guess logistically, the way it's going to work is me, Wilkie, and Chris, the new guy, are going to be there for the full 40 days. So Troy and Jesse are going to come for the first 2 weeks. Zach and Jesse are coming for the first 2 weeks, and then Kobe and Troy are coming for the remainder of the trip, and then when Zach and Jesse leave. So we got a little bit of a split there. It's been logistically kind of a nightmare to try to iron it all out and make sure everybody overlaps right and we have enough people on the trail. But that's part of real life. I mean, and that's part of who we are. We're, like I said, we're a bunch of regular dudes with regular lives and families and stuff. And so the reality of taking a 40-day expedition for everybody isn't always, feasible. So we split it up and try to get all our bases covered and run it that way. So, and everybody has their own kind of spot on the team, something that they bring to the expedition team itself. So.
Okay, and when you guys started out, what rigs were you using back then? I know your FJZ 80 was there, the Ranger was there.
At the very first, it was
the Ford F-150,
the Titan, and then the Ranger, and then it changed. My FZJ 80 has been in the whole time. And then, the Ranger that you've seen on the videos, Kobe's Ranger, it'll be there too. And then the only one that we've added for the first 2 weeks was Zach's silver FJ Cruiser. Okay. So, and the guys are currently out there right now finishing up the drawer system for it. So we have our Sunday shop days where the whole team comes over and we try to prepare for the trip. So while we're in here in the nice warm weather, they're out there in the rain trying to get everything finished up. So
yeah, I know how that is. One of the guys online was talking about me working at the shop that I'm working at now, doing the fabrication work I'm doing, and he said it beats welding in the rain, doesn't it? And I was like, yeah, it does a lot, But
there's nothing like dealing with the weather while you're trying to get something done.
Yeah, especially off-road stuff because you're up under the car and it's wet and it's not real fun.
Splitting your eyes.
Yeah. Well, you'll see a lot of my videos. I actually wear the goggles or the glasses that have the foam around them. Safety glasses with the foam because I got so much grit in my eyes. It ain't worth it. I just wear glasses now.
Yeah, totally.
So now. Since the last time we talked, I know you guys went to the Overland Rally. You hung out there. You met a bunch of people, and then
not the Overland Rally. We went to the Northwest Overland Rally. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I thought you were talking about the Overland Expo.
No. And then you guys have done a bunch of other trips since then, preparing and stuff, right?
Yeah.
What have you guys learned from those other trips that you feel like, okay, this is what we've gained from those other trips?
A lot of, number one, communication with each other. Naturally you get a bunch of, we took the 10-day trip last September, and there was basically 3 of us the entire time. We had a couple guys, Burns and our friend Mitch, that was out with the first couple of days. But on a personal level, we kind of learned how to work with each other's differences. And, different people have different mood swings for different reasons caused by different things. And then we learned a couple lessons the hard way. We had, on Jason's FJ, or his 80 series, we had 4 studs that kind of connect his steering hub together, the steering link to his hub assembly. And we noticed it on night 4, and we ordered the parts in Boise, Idaho. We were still 2 days away. And so we ended up having to go in because 2 of them were shipped off to Baker City and get some temporary studs to kind of fix it, but they were just crappy grade. And we get to Idaho, Boise, Idaho on day 6, I believe it was, and then we're like, hey, should we put these in and fix it here, or should we fix it on the trail? And we're like, oh, let's fix it on the trail to make for better video. And so and this is like the first stretch of Idaho's terrain, and it was by far the gnarliest trail that we'd come across.
And the trip we were doing was a recon trip through Oregon and Idaho. So we're basically, doing reconnaissance for our trip this year through Oregon.
Yeah, through that stretch. So we get to the trail, and by the time we hit the trail, we're so stoked that it's not just like back roads or whatever, that it's actually trail. We forgot to pull over and fix it. So it was about a mile. It was this gnarly uphill climb, and it wasn't like rock crawling, but it was rocky, and there was boulders you definitely had to kind of like navigate over and through. And I got stuck like 100, 200 feet from the peak of this hill, if you would, this molehill. And Jason goes to turn around, and then he just gets on the intercom and goes, "Uh-oh, something's wrong." And I run up there. I'm stuck 100 feet below him, and his entire passenger side tire had just caved in because we didn't fix those studs. So the most valuable lesson that we learned is when we have the stuff, because there's a chance that even on the 40-day trip that something goes wrong, and we'll have to get into a town to get a certain part or whatever to fix it there. We ended up paying. And the crazy thing is, we're 11 miles off from the highway, and just due to the elevation that we were at, we barely had any cell phone service, which worked out in our favor because we were able to call the Toyota dealership in Boise and order some new stuff. But really, I think the two main things that we've learned on the trail is how to work together as a team. Like Jason was saying earlier, we all have our little niche in our area that we, if you want to quote it, like specialize in. And then the other big thing is fixing stuff when you notice it and taking care of that problem then, because the reality is we didn't do the last day of the trail, because by the time we had fixed his Land Cruiser, we were at a KOA. Jason and Troy had to drive like an hour away to some junkyard to find these. What were those? The trunnion bearings. Yeah. Yeah, it was nuts. Saturday morning in Boise, Idaho, and we're trying to find a trunnion bearing for my Land Cruiser. When the tire had fallen out because the steering arm came down, that trunnion bearing completely fell out, and we had no idea. So we got it back together, and it had a weird tilt to it, and so we're like, oh, that's weird. So when I actually got back and broke it apart, it took me a second, because I've taken that hub apart quite a few times, but I'm sitting there looking at it like there's something missing here, and I'm looking, and I'm like, hey guys, I think there was supposed to be a bearing in here. Yeah. I'm pretty positive there was supposed to be a bearing. So we were trying to find this bearing. And you can't, number one, trying to find a trunnion bearing for a Land Cruiser isn't the easiest thing anyways. Even here in town, it's like it takes 4 days, to get the parts or whatever. So we, call around everything. Everybody's like, yeah, Tuesday it'll get here. I'm like, well, it's Saturday and we need to get going now. So how are we going to do this? So, I'm calling Tank. Hey, Tank, is there anything we can do? And he's giving me these like harebrained ideas. I'm like, I don't know if that's that kind of situation yet. So one of my buddies was like, did you try the junkyards? And I was like, I thought about it, but the fact that there would be a front axle for a Land Cruiser in a junkyard still being there is so slim, because those are always the first things to get pulled, because it's a straight axle. So I was like, okay, we'll give it a shot. And there was only 2 in Boise, 2 Land Cruisers in the junkyards in Boise. And the first one we went to, walk up. Of course, the axles are completely gone. And Troy was with me, and he's like, Troy's good under those kind of situations because he doesn't really like get frustrated or panic. He's just kind of like, And he was like, well, let's just go look up there and see if we can find something. And so I'm like, okay. So we walk up there. Sure enough, laying in the dirt are 2 trunnion bearings. So sometimes a little persistence pays off.
Yeah. You never know, man. You never know. Hey, well, for this episode, we're going to stop it right here, guys. Don't worry. We'll get back to the topics, and we'll cover the rest of the stories. We'll cover a little bit more about the transition from the last time we talked to where you guys are now. And then in the future episodes, we'll go on and talk a little bit more about what you guys' plans are, how you've got it set up, and how you expect it to be for the 40 days like we talked about. So everybody that's listening, we want to thank you guys for stopping by and watching this episode. The guys will be back on. We'll have a segment of episodes that talk about this with the guys, so you can all see what's going on with them as well. And don't forget, please, to stop by their site. You can go by and check them out at OregonTrailOffroad.com. I know that they've also got a couple of groups on Facebook now, right? You've got, your page on Facebook for Oregon Trail Offroad, but then you've also got a group which is to support the local Portland overlanders, right?
off-road group. It's kind of a closed group. We're our names on it, but we have like Zach, one of our team members. He kind of controls that, and we kind of keep it local. So sorry to all the guys that aren't local. It's a closed group, but if you are local to the Pacific Northwest, it's a great place to get plugged in. It was something that happened kind of off the cuff. We didn't really plan it. We just started this group because there was a lot of local guys here, right in the Oregon City, Portland area that were, kind of trying to get connected. So that's why we did it, and then. Within a few weeks, it was up to about 300 members. So it's a great place for guys in the Pacific Northwest to get involved. Everybody else, stay tuned. We're going to do some more, national stuff where everybody can get involved and kind of help us along the trail. So, but for now, it's a local Facebook group. If you're local here, awesome. If not, we apologize. We'll get something out to you guys probably after we get back from our big trip. So.
Don't listen to him. He's lying to you. He's just getting you an expectation. He's never going to do anything else with it afterwards. No, I'm just kidding. Don't forget to stop by and check out my sites as well. You can check out offroadindependence.com, beginnersfab.com. Also, you can check out my Zazzle site. I'm setting up a store on beginnersfab.com, which is also now bgrfab.com. You can go through it to that. I've got some shirts available for that as well. And stop by and check out the next episode with all the guys from Oregon Trail Off-Road and see what they're up to and see what we're going to talk about with their experiences and what they expect to find in the future. Thanks, guys, for stopping by. Thanks, guys, from Oregon Trail for being on the show.
Thank you. Cheers.
It's been a pleasure, a privilege, man. It always is. So, thanks again.
Cheers, man.